time now for Coming In Hot with Brent Wallace and former Ottawa Senator Jason York.
Hey, everybody. How are we doing today, Sens Army? Brent Wallace alongside Jason York and Graham Nichols from the Hockey News. As always, this show brought to you by Bet365. Nice to see you guys. The sky didn't fall. Everything is going to be okay. Right, Yorkie?
Yeah, you think so? You're good? You're feeling good? Hey, people can hear us today, so we're good there. It's a start in the right direction. Listen, it's the first game of the playoffs. I think there was a lot of jitters last night, fellas. A lot of jitters, especially the first period, by both teams. I actually thought both teams, especially Stollart's a little early, was kind of bumbling the puck a little bit, but he settled in nicely. But hey, it's the first game. If you're the Ottawa Senators, in a perfect world, you're looking to win one of these two games. They didn't get the first one, so they got another crack at it tomorrow.
Yeah, like listening to the players speak last night after the game, listening to the players speak at the media availability at their hotel today, it seems like the recurring theme is, hey, we played well at 5-on-5. And Coach Green echoed those sentiments last night and today as well. And it's like that's what they're focusing on. They're focusing on the positives. And I think there are a number of concerns heading into the series where it's like, hey, if this and this don't go right, Ottawa could be in trouble. And I think last night, especially those things that we targeted and identified early on kind of fell through for the Senators.
Okay. But they still didn't like their game very much. I mean,
okay.
We can get to the officiating, I suppose. There are some calls that are questionable. I know Yorkie and I disagree. I'm not sure, Graham, your call. I disagree on this. I think the Stutzle penalty is a penalty. I disagree, or I don't disagree with you. I think the Adam Gaudette one is not. But the Stutzle one is a big deal to me, only because I think that shifts the momentum of that particular game. They score on it. It's different. If Brady Kachuk scores on that breakaway, it's a 2-2 game. That makes things different. A lot of things needed to go right for the Sens, I think, last night, which included better goaltending and a penalty kill that Graham despises with every ounce of his body. And that let them down. So they cleaned those up. I think they're okay.
Well, this is Graham. Did you get the tweet I sent you? I basically summarized the game in a nutshell. There's three things in this game that I thought were keys to the game, and you actually hit on one of them, Wally. But I really thought when you start the playoffs, the first goal is really important, and that Oliver Ekman-Larsson goal, that wasn't a weak goal by any means. Break down a little bit the Senators, 3-on-2. Ekman-Larsson jumps in, but I thought whoever scores the first is going to get a huge boost. But for Toronto, it's even more important because you kind of eliminated some doubt. So for me, I'm not blaming Ullmark, but I would have liked a save there. Get a save early could have done wonders just to let Ottawa settle in, because it doesn't, if you get a save there, it kind of lets the people, okay, made a mistake there, let's settle in. Instead, they score, then they get another quick one. All of a sudden, you're down 2-0. And you made a good point there, Wally. And remember, we were sitting in the press box last night. Ottawa was coming when they were down 2-1. They really started to pick things up because you heard Travis Green talking about the players. I thought they played pretty well 5-on-5, but the thing they didn't do well 5-on-5, they didn't cash in on their chances. And part of the reason, Stollart's really settled into and played his game. That save he made on Brady Kachuk, that was the turning point in that game. And then Ottawa got another chance right after. Shane Pinto, grade A opportunity. It was moments later. Stollart's makes another save there. So instead of being a 2-2 hockey game, still 2-1, and then to your point, that's exactly when the marginal calls started happening. You get the one on Stutzle, but I'm sorry, it's not a penalty. It is not a penalty in the playoffs. It's not. Like anybody that watched the late game, the Vegas game, that's a different game being called. Who's the big defenseman on Vegas, Graham? Big 6'6" guy.
Pietrangelo?
Not Pietrangelo.
You were talking earlier about Haig. Haig was like laying cross check some guy.
Nicholas Haig basically cross-checked the guy pretty well in the neck, down on the ground, lay on. Go to the Ottawa Senators game, Timmy Stutzle, and Timmy talked today, and he didn't want to get himself in trouble, but the thing he did say was, I let up on that play. And if you watch that, and if you watch it, Wally, he goes in, sees the backs turn, kind of lets up. I think Tanev just kind of lost his balance, but you can't call that in the playoffs. You can't. Like Brady, it was a ridiculous call, and then a couple of the other calls as well. But you're going to have bad calls. You are going to have bad calls. But to me, it was more the timing.
Okay, Yorkie, if that's Tim Stutzle.
Let me finish. All right.
The
timing of those penalties, because Stolarz makes two massive saves, the one on Kachuk, the one on Pinto. And what happens moments after that? Toronto goes for the power play on a very soft call. And then, hey, you got to give Toronto's power play full marks. Ottawa loses. I think it was all clean draws and all the goals, but their power play was really good. Ottawa's PK wasn't. But for me, these three things that happened in the game: first goal, Stolarz key saves, and the marginal calls at bad times, ball game.
Okay, here's the only argument I have to that. If that was Oliver Ekman-Larsson who drilled Tim Stutzle from behind, all of Ottawa is up in arms over how could you not make that call?
It's not a penalty. It's not just when you have people chiming in online and that have no skin in the game. It's playoff hockey. And I'll say what, I'll give Toronto full marks. They had a game plan. We talked about this yesterday, and I guarantee you in that dressing room, the coaching staff is saying it's a young team. They haven't played in the playoffs. A lot of their players, some have. They're going to come out and they're really going to try and hit. So guys, go down. Like Ekman-Larsson in front of the net on Batherson's cross-check, he grabbed his head and was lying on the ice. At no point was there contact to the head. So, hey, listen, playoffs is all about gamesmanship. It's all about go back to the old days of the Battle of Ontario. Let's go back and rewind to when Ty Domi launched himself into the boards. It happens. It's the same thing. It happens. It's the playoffs. If you're not cheating, you're not trying. Ottawa's got to start cheating a little bit more.
I think it's a frustrating part of the postseason, though, right? Like fans will watch two sets of games, and there's two different sets of rules being called, and you get frustrated. And I understand, Timmy did hit Tanev from behind. You can complain about whether Tanev knew he was coming, spun into the hit a little bit, but he did hit him from behind a little bit. So for me, I didn't mind that call as much as the Godet on Matthews one. I thought the Godet on Matthews one was so soft and frustrating. And it's I think just watching the game live, I think the frustrating part for Ottawa is it seemed like every time that they got momentum, whether they scored a goal, the 2-1 goal or anything else, it's like Toronto responded right away. And they capitalized on their opportunities through bad calls. They're just soft calls. And I know gamesmanship, you talked about gamesmanship, the Ekman-Larsson embellishment was right there. And I think it's frustrating. And then, I don't know, what's your opinion? Like Travis Green kind of hit on that a little bit in the post-game availability with the media. He talked about the soft calls. Do you want your head coach mentioning that or planting those seeds?
You got to be careful. Yeah, for sure. Plant the seeds. One thing, what teams will do too is they will send in stuff to the league, and I'll guarantee you, they're sending these calls and they're saying, "Hey, here's what was called, and here's a bunch of the other stuff that wasn't called," and they'll put some pressure on, some heat behind the scenes, and do it in a good way. But the other thing about this game last night that I didn't mention was, I'll give Toronto credit. They were a much more composed and calm team compared to the Ottawa Senators. A lot of Senators just saw a lot of bouncing pucks, a lot of bobbling pucks, a lot of not clean breakouts. I just felt a lot of guys were just, you kind of get caught up in the moment in your first playoff game. And I think, not that guys aren't trying, it's not that guys aren't working, but it can get the best of you. And I thought there's a few guys on the Senators that just a little nervous. And I know Travis Green was talking about some of the players, but it does happen. But I just thought Toronto, if you watch Tanev play on the blue line for Toronto, That's a guy that's got a ton of playoff experience. And you can tell when you watch him play, he gets the puck, he's calm, he's composed. Toronto's defense is very deliberate. And that forward group, fellas, I think they set a record for pucks dumped in the first 10 minutes of a hockey game. That's not the usual Toronto Maple Leafs from the Sheldon Keefe era where it was illegal to dump the puck in because it didn't go, it wasn't a good analytics check mark. That team's playing Craig Berube hockey. And God, I was really impressed with Toronto's fourth line with Yarncrook and Lawton. Those guys have come to play. Those guys have come to play.
We have some other players to talk about. This show brought to you by Charm Diamond Centers, more than 85 locations across the country through Charm and their sister brands. Get custom rebuilding delivered in less than 4 weeks with the Charm Masterpiece Program and unbeatable pricing policy. Check out a large selection of Canadian lab-grown diamonds. Mine diamonds don't pay until 2026. And apply for the Charm Diamond Flexity card today. For more information, go to charmdiamondcenters.com. And by Merkley Supply, who has over a century of passion, expertise, and highest quality masonry supply. They are home to the largest masonry boutique in Eastern Ontario. They deliver to Ottawa, Gatineau, Kingston, Ottawa Valley, and of course, throughout the surrounding areas. From Canada's Supreme Court to your home's front steps, no matter the project, Ottawa, Merkley is proud to set it in stone. Isn't that right, Jason York? If you're looking for stone, brick, landscaping products, and specialty building supplies, count on Merkley Supply. For more information, go to merkleysupply.com or visit their showroom in Hintonburg. Merkley, mark every milestone.
This episode is fueled by Gabriel Pizza, the official pizza of the Ottawa Senators and coming in hot. Download the Gabriel Pizza app to earn points with every order and unlock exclusive deals through Gabriel Pizza Perks. Craving a slice after a big win? Don't forget, when the Sens score 4, you score 40% off any 9-inch pizza the next day. Just use the app and the deal is yours. Order now through the Gabriel Pizza app or online at gabrielpizza.com. Gabriel Pizza. Bigger, better, Gabriel.
All right, so we all were wondering what Brady Kachuk might do in the playoffs. I thought he was okay. People are curious about Ridley Greig and what statement he might make in game one. Well, he became a little bit of a focal point. The high stick on John Tavares, but he caused a little bit of an issue with Anthony Stolarz because Stolarz didn't skate today. Now, people are saying that it was just a maintenance day, but the video might dictate that perhaps the Riddler is a bit of an issue. So, Graham, you noticed him staying down afterwards, correct?
Yeah, and after the whistle, he was shaking his right leg out pretty, just flexing it. And I don't know. It's one of those injuries that, like, maybe it didn't bother me. Finished the game, obviously, but, like, I wonder if that's one of those things that tightens up over the course of the night or, it's I think that was, like, the unintentional and intentional. Like, I think that was
accidentally on purpose.
I think he knew exactly what he was doing. Like, he didn't bring the puck in forcefully. Like, he had it. He was obviously keeping it on his offside, and I think he was comfortable. He knew exactly what he was doing, and that's Ridley Greig hockey. And he was the guy I was kind of focused on heading into this series. Like Biz couldn't remember his name. I'm like, well, you're gonna remember his name pretty quickly. And after game one, Matthew Knies was already talking about him, right? I think Jake, do you have a quote?
Yeah, there's a tweet. We'll get to it in 1 second.
If play that again, Jake, that video of Ridley Greig going in there. Well, it's you remember you driving and it's a little incidental contact, goes down maybe a little easier. But hey, that's again talked about gamesmanship. This is what you go back to the years when the Rangers used to play the Canadians. Like Chris Kreider was good for one of these a night, and he'd slide in the Carey Price like that. But I noticed that too with Stolarz when he got up. Because that's all, like Greg's coming in pretty hard. So that's basically whatever Greig is, 190 pounds of force. There's the Matthew Knies quote right there, Graham, on Ridley Greig. It's definitely annoying. And I think we're going to have to, let me put the glasses on here, play hard on him and not make it easy for him the rest of the way. Well, that's how you got to play on everybody. But when you get hit like that and you're braced for something, because I know as a defenseman, it's not the same as a goalie, but it is kind of similar. You go in the corner, and when your leg is braced and it goes a different way than you're expecting it to, that force can sometimes tweak your MCL, and you don't feel it till the next day. I once tweaked my MCL, and I played the rest of the game. So watch the leg right there.
It's stretched right there, there. That little extra stretch.
Yeah. That's what happens. That's how you stretch your ligament just a little bit. And I don't know, like it could be there's different grades, but he could just be getting a rest as well. But it's a lot of force coming at your leg there. So I wouldn't be surprised if he's feeling it today, because he definitely got up after that save and he was shaking the leg a little bit. But you're so warm, you're so intense, you got the adrenaline going that you don't feel it until you go home, wake up, and like shit. Just a little stiff, but we'll see. We'll see if he's back in. But yeah, Greig was good last night. I liked his game. Like, no surprise. You knew this kid was going to be good come playoff time.
I scored a big goal to cut the deficit right to 2. Gave him a little bit of life before Toronto responded quickly, and it's what you need. And like Matthew Nyes was talking about him, and if you can draw attention to yourself and kind of disrupt the Leafs' focus and get them focused on retribution and targeting Greig, like that's exactly what he's trying to do. And I think that should only serve the Senators better. But like Stolarz, you mentioned Stolarz with the big saves on Pinto and Kachuk. Like I thought if there is another encouraging sign, I don't think like Stolarz was particularly sharp. Like lots of rebounds getting put into the slot.
Lots of pucks hitting him. Lots of pucks hitting him.
Pucks hit him and just popping up, and even on long distance shots. And it was you know, like he obviously is very, very hot going into this postseason. But if there's an encouraging sign, maybe he's not at the top of his game.
Third most ice time among forwards, Ridley Greig, 17:51. Shane Pinto, number 1. Claude Giroux, number 2. Not shocking since they play on the PK. Yeah.
So there's obviously a lot of focus on the PK after that game, right? Like three power play goals allowed to Toronto.
6 opportunities.
Kind of like I felt like Toronto scored those goals in the span of like 30 seconds, though. Like it was like Ottawa right off.
I think it's less.
Faceoffs. Yeah, like directly off faceoff losses, which is like uncharacteristic of Claude Giroux.
Yeah.
He's like a 60+% guy this season. They just capitalized right away. Like I don't know if you can necessarily. Obviously, they scored on the power play, so it sucks because those are goals allowed. But I don't know. It's how do you criticize something that it all happened so quickly? Especially
the 5-on-3,
especially set face-off plays, right? Like
like Nylander just walks right in and shoots in the slot alone. Then there's the tip in front. Is that Tavares who gets the tip, right?
Yeah, he's great in front of the net. And
by the way, the Toronto Maple Leafs are second in the league in faceoffs. Ottawa's 4th. Like they are a formidable opponent in the draw. So
is as much as I love the Cousins trade, because I think it's a slam dunk win for the Senators, they do miss, unfortunately, Josh Norris's left-handed stick in the faceoff circle. Like one thing that Norris did extremely well this year that they do miss is the faceoffs, because they've gone downhill in that department, and they've got great righties. Giroux's a righty, Pinto's a righty, Cousins a righty, but they don't really have that dominant left-hand centerman in the faceoff circle, which is tough because I thought before they didn't lose as many clean draws as they're losing now. But I know a lot of people are kind of pointing the finger at Highmar, but it is really tough when you're the winger to get it fast enough when it snapped back that clean. Like it's because most faceoffs aren't won that clean. It's usually a half win. Somebody comes in and then bumps it back. But while that process happens, while it's happening, it gives the winger time to get out and establish a good lane on that point line, but which you don't have a chance to do that. So you can't really blame Highmore for that. I will say 5-on-5, he's trying his best, but I'll be shocked if there isn't a change there. If Cousins, not that it's Highmore's fault they lost the game, because a lot of people are pointing the finger at, like, it's not his fault they lost, but it's if Cousins is healthy, he'll draw back in.
I don't think he's healthy. And so today, the Sens did not skate. Only the scratches skated. So Marilainen, Forsberg, and then Gilbert, Hamonic. I'm missing one other person. Nick Cousins did not skate today. I saw him at the hotel. We all saw him. And
he's hurt.
I'm thinking and I watched him last night. He just doesn't seem right. And so I'm thinking he's in the lineup if he's 100% healthy.
So Nick Cousins did not take part in the skate today.
He did not skate.
Okay, there's your answer. Like, if you didn't play last night and you don't skate, you're hurt.
Yeah. That's he just looks off. So we'll see if that changes for tomorrow. They're going to have a skate tomorrow. We'll see what the lines are. I would put him in. Now, here's a question for you two both. It wasn't in the nerd report, but we'll bring it up anyway. Does Fabian Zetterlund move up? I know Claude Giroux was second on the team in ice time among forwards. Mm-hmm. He just looks slow.
He doesn't look fast. Yeah, but it's a tough.
I shouldn't say slow.
Yeah, he doesn't like. He was trying to throw hits on the forecheck, and he was in on bodies and stuff, but the pace of play just isn't there. And I think if you watch like Fabian Zetterlund going up and down the ice last night, like you notice him back pressuring. I think it was Nick Robertson. He came back, caught him, and then shoved him down, and then the puck went back the other way for Ottawa's sake. So like, I don't mind that move. Like personally, like I know, you talk about the cachet of a player like Giroux and everything that he's done in his career and what he means to this group of players as a leadership and the faceoffs and everything. But I mean, if you're trying to put the best foot forward, I think like Zetterlund, that's an easy swap that you can make. And I think Giroux can take that. He's a veteran. He knows more than anyone. Like you don't have to tell him. He'll know where his game's at. But at the same time, like looking at the Ottawa's lines last night, like the Stutzle line was Ottawa's best in terms of generating shots and chances. So really, yeah, it was. They were on for 9 shots for and 1 against. So, like,
by the way, what were scoring chances, Graham?
Natural Stat Trick had them at, I believe, 22-12
for Ottawa
at 5-on-5, just at 5-on-5. Yeah. So
it was good 5-on-5.
So like,
go ahead, Graham. Finish your thought.
Yeah, it's just like I know you lose a game and everything else. You want to place blame, you want to throw blame around, but like that line wasn't terrible. That line wasn't terrible at all. So maybe if it's down 2-0 or something, you can start making swaps and stuff. But like I thought Zetterlund was noticeable last night. I think the speed's a huge element that people notice right away.
I don't think anything's going to change based on the fact that 5-on-5. They're happy with how they played 5-on-5.
Yeah,
like they felt and they still feel if they can stay out of the box and play this series 5-on-5. They've got a good chance at winning this series. So I don't think they're going to change anything. Listen, a lot of guys had off nights last night. One guy I was impressed with, though, playing his first playoff game, was Drake Batherson. I thought he was really good last night. He was physical. He was hanging on the pucks. He was strong on pucks. I just thought he was a guy that kind of just was enjoying the moment. Like he looked really relaxed out there and played really hard. I thought he was a difference maker out there, and it's not just the fact he scored a goal. When he's physical, he's really good. And I thought the Drake, arguably Ottawa's best player last night.
He was great. Yeah, I thought he was great. He looked like a playoff performer.
He looked like he'd been in the playoffs before. He just looked, because it's just like I was talking about yesterday. You just got to take the moment and embrace it. Like we're sitting up there in the press box, and when you play, some guys notice it, some guys don't, but there's a ton of energy. You see the Canadian flag going around. That place was loud to start the game, and it's just a totally different feeling in the playoffs, and I just thought he embraced it, man. He was flying. I thought David Perron had some great moments in that game. I like Cousins as well. He skated well. I thought that line was pretty good. Like 5-on-5, it's just unfortunately Batherson doesn't kill penalties. Cousins doesn't kill penalties. When you get that many penalties, it screws up your line juggling, and you end up, a lot of guys get cold on the bench. But man, like I said, I like the Drake's game last night.
So I saw him at the hotel where we're waiting to do the media availability today, and I was like, Drake, because we obviously know each other a little bit. I was like, just what was it like to score your first playoff goal? He goes, it was pretty cool. Like he thoroughly enjoyed it. He loved the game last night.
So much fun.
And then as he's sitting on the couch and we're having a chat, Mendez walks over and I said, Drake's now part of the meeting. He goes, well, I'm on the pod all the time. And he's like, I love the mug. So Sylvain St. Laurent's not happy that he does not have a mug. So I got to get a mug for Sly.
Mugs are tough to come by these days. It's a limited production. You can only pump these things out so fast. Wally makes them at his home. Like it's like the old thing. It's the old thing from Ghost where Wally's there and he's doing the pottery mug.
So who's sitting behind Wally? Who's sitting behind? Yeah, well, Lisa.
Yeah, it's Lisa. Yeah. By the way, we're going to give away 2 more mugs tomorrow. We're going to be back at Shoeless Joe's at 4:30. Yes, the technical issues are expected to be worked out. If not, it'll be a 2-minute show. But We are expected. We are there tomorrow. So join us. Since we had a great time yesterday.
Yeah, it was good.
35 Sens fans showed up. Like
More
the
than
entire
that.
bar, there was no Leaf fans. I remember one guy showed up in a Leaf jersey. He got booed. It was fantastic.
There a lot of, so I went around the bar and I met everybody, talked to everybody. A lot of the people there yesterday live in Toronto secretly as Sens fans because they've got a safe place to go. We're their safe place. Shoeless Joe's at the Queen's K. They all came there. They're happy. Like a Leaf guy would come in the front door. Everybody would boo him. It was like we took over a little spot of Toronto for one magical night. Well, we're going to do it again tomorrow.
We're going to do it again. Yeah. Anyway, the crowd was fantastic. So 2 mugs are going to be given out tomorrow. A jersey, a Brady Kachuk jersey, and a coming in hot hoodie, by the way. Nice. So join us, 4:30. Quickly, I got a question before we move on. Josh asking, do you think Hammer gets into the lineup tomorrow to give the D a boost? Do we see Travis Hamonic in the lineup tomorrow while everybody else in the chat has a collective eye roll?
I kind of like how Matt and Powell played. I thought Matt and Powell, I don't have his I didn't even check his ice time, but he looked good out there.
I think they were at like 11 minutes. 11 minutes last night, which is like to be what you would expect. Yeah, he was 11:09.
I thought he looked panicked for a bit. Like there was a time he just threw the puck behind the net to nobody.
Yeah, he threw a puck into a guy's feet and went through his feet for an icing at one point. And but like first game, whatever. I don't know. I didn't find the third pairing was a problem last night, personally.
No.
So I wouldn't change it. But I mean, losses spark change. I know there's like there's a sweet spot for Travis Hamonic with the coaching.
All right, so. We've got it.
There you
Wally go. And the ghost of Josh Norris sculpting the mug together with the music to the Ghost soundtrack. Are you? Who's putting the Demi Moore wig on? Oh, Demi Moore had the short hair back then, though.
Yeah.
Well, Josh is pretty good looking, so he'll have to be Demi Moore.
Can't wait for the Photoshop of this.
Or is it Demi? Remember she was Demi for a while? No, she's like Demi. Demi. I don't know. It's
asking the wrong guy.
Josh has a mug.
Josh has a mug. Yeah, he does.
Okay. How long does it take you to make one of those anyhow?
Well, it depends if Josh is cooperating or not. Because if he isn't, it messes. We got to start over. It's just awkward. I do have more ordered, by the way.
Yeah. People were fired up at Shoeless yesterday to get one. I think we give one out. We have one or two on that.
Two. People were excited for them.
Yeah,
that's good.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna get to the elephant in the room, as Ken Campbell called it yesterday. Before we do, though, this show brought to you by Club EG. Sorry, Graham. The heartbeat of Ottawa's golf scene, where access up to 60-tier courses, 10-plus leagues, and epic golf trips around the world. Club EG is doing it all. They're behind major events like the Ottawa Sun Scramble and the Ottawa Citizen Golf Championship. If there's golf happening in this city, odds are Club EG is running it. You don't even need to be a member to register for any of the events. But if you do sign up, you'll unlock exclusive rates and become part of the golf club that welcomes every kind of golfer, including my terrible game. Visit Club EG and start playing more golf more often this summer. Yorkie?
And also by our good friends at BEI. If you need some equipment rentals, aggregate, topsoil, maybe some custom crushing earth screening, BEI can help you out with some competitive pricing. I think it is springtime. I don't think there's any more snow coming, so it's a great time to call BEI when you're considering your next project. Well, this is a little cold here in Toronto, but I promise you the good weather is coming. Give them a call, 613-432-1120, or you can get them online at bonishierexcavating.com. BEI is helping to shape the Ottawa Valley. And
our show is proudly presented by Bet365, where breaking news is coming in from Bet365. Every nail-biting overtime win is a barn burner. Every face-off hat trick, power play, shot on goal, penalty shot. We shouldn't mention the penalty killing. Every suspenseful minute in between is amazing. Whatever the moment, never ordinary at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app and use code NATION to get in on the game. The official partner of the NHL. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, visit connectsontario.ca. I barely missed the parlay last night. I thought Dylan Cousins was going to score early in that one, and he didn't get it. I would have hit the jackpot. Today, the Montreal Canadiens are part of three series that get underway tonight. And of course, the Sens still the underdogs as they get set for game 2 if you're looking to lay your wagers down on Ottawa. So can we get to Linus Ullmark's game?
I don't blame him. Like, I know it's 6 goals and everything else, but like, I don't necessarily blame him for any of them. Like, I know, like,
hey, but your goalie, Graham, all due respect, needs to be better and steal a game. If Ottawa's going to win this series, he has got to outplay Anthony Stolarz by probably a country mile. The Toronto Maple Leafs are a really, really good hockey team. He needs to be better.
No, I don't disagree with any of that. But like, at the same time, I also, like, those were all quality shots and circumstances that those pucks went in. Like, a puck hits Highmore when he's down, goes over his shoulder. Like he didn't have a chance on that. Like, obviously the OEL, like, when any NHL player with some skill, like, OEL is a skilled guy. He came in as a skilled offensive defenseman. Like, if you leave any player unchecked in the slot, unmarked, chances are they're going to bury it. I don't care who they are. So it's just like my problem with the goals is that there were defensive breakdowns that allowed Toronto to get these scoring opportunities. And it seemed just like every opportunity that Toronto got last night was capitalized on. I think that's, do you wish your goaltender could bail you out on them? Absolutely. Absolutely. And I don't disagree with that at all, Wally, especially when you sign into an extension where he's making $8 million a year. You want him to play at his best level. But I mean, like, we've also seen these games from Ullmark before this season. So it's not.
We haven't seen him lately. His last 2 games have been atrocious. And we all made a big excuse for Carolina being, well, it didn't matter. That game didn't matter. Well, it's now 11 goals in the last 2 games. My only point is we keep making excuses. Well, OEL shot, it shouldn't have gone in, or there's a Highmore tip. At some point, you just have to be somewhere that this puck's going to hit you. I understand you can't be everywhere, but he needs to make these stops for Ottawa to be successful. There's no other way around it.
Totally agree. And I think, like, if that continues through game 2 or game 3, and then I think that's when there is a level of concern. Like, you know, playoff record, again, it's a really small sample size. You're talking 11 appearances, sub 900 save percentage. I think his record would be 3-7 now. He hasn't been good in the postseason, so he's got to change that narrative. And I think, like, until he has one of those games where he plays well and gives his team a chance to win, that narrative could get fueled by his performance.
If you look at a couple of points here. If you look at the goals, the Marner shot was incredible, top shelf. Tavares, it's a high tip in the slot, rebound, no chance there. The Nylander was a high skill look away, great shot. So every shot you could say, well, that's a really good goal. But I'll tell you the difference in the hockey game. So there's key moments at key times in the game. And one of the most important key moments is when you start a game. I don't know what the stats are, but teams that generally score first usually have a much greater percentage of winning, especially the way Ottawa plays. Ottawa plays very
lights out.
They're lights out when they get the lead. So I agree, you're in the high slot, but an NHL goalie that can see a shot is usually going to stop it from a little bit of distance. So it was a good shot by Ekman-Larsson. Tough save, but if you flip it around and you look at the key moments, so a key moment, start of the game, they get the goal and they get another goal. Another key moment when you flip it around, when you get a key save of something you're not supposed to stop. Key moment, 2-1, Anthony Stolarz, Brady Kachuk, breakaway, key save. That's a key save. That, to me, that was the old turning point of the hockey game where Ottawa, if they score
Yorkie, it's also shot right into his chest.
Yeah, for sure.
Him and Pinto both, like, shot it right into his breadbasket. Like, I'm not trying to, like, take anything away from Stolarz, but, like, shot quality wasn't good.
But his positioning was really good. The Pinto one was got him right in the numbers, right in the old Leafs crest. Brady was picked a little bit there, but hey, it's I didn't love the Ekman-Larsson shot. Like, for me, an NHL goalie, an elite NHL goalie, usually makes that save. But hey, it's still it's a breakdown that led to the play. But that's the difference in the playoffs. You have to make a couple saves that you're not expected to make, and that was the difference. That's the difference. And Ullmark did not play poorly.
No,
lots of breakdowns, freaking key face-off losses. Let's be honest. You lost clean face-offs that led to those opportunities. So it's not just the goaltender. But I get Wally's point. You brought Ullmark in to save some of the unsavables. That's why you win in the playoffs. You get some of the unsavables saved, and they just didn't get that last night.
Yeah, I think like the biggest difference making save last night was probably Stolarz is on Zetterlund. Where Zetterlund had that high slot shot, and he just made a miraculous save, and the puck went into the corner. And you know, I think you're right though. Like, if I don't want to be like the glass half full, you know, like, hey, if this and this and this happened, it would be a different game. But like, the Senators had the chances to equalize it, and they did, and then didn't score in their chances. They didn't do that enough.
Like a lot of things just went the other way in a hurry for Ottawa. It's like you get breakaway, point blank shot, and then you miss those chances, and then right away Toronto goes on the power play. You lose a draw clean, boom, they score, and then you get a 5-on-3. Like just a lot of adversity that for Ottawa, Toronto was opportunistic. When they got opportunities, they scored. When Ottawa got their opportunities, they didn't. And there you go.
However, I will say, Yorkie, I know you've played in enough playoff games, and Graham have covered them, that Game 2 doesn't necessarily mean it looks like Game 1. It can be a completely different hockey game. And so while we all get panicky and go, oh, this is how the series is going, Game 2 may look completely different. That's why I believe things will be different. If Ottawa stays out of the box, I think this is a split.
I hope so.
We'll see.
Can they? So do you think if the Senators go down 2-0, can they recover from that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You haven't lost till you lose. You haven't lost a series till you lose at home.
That's the old adage, Ed.
Yeah, and one thing about this team, Wally, like this team has shown throughout the season, like when they've lost 5 in a row, they're done. The playoffs. I hate this team. They're brutal. I'm no longer buying tickets. Season's done. Panic button pressed, and then they go off and they totally redeem themselves. And just when you think this team's dead and out, they surprise you. So that's been the narrative for this team all year. Like when their backs are against the wall, they usually answer the bell. So I disagree, Wally. I think it's going to be the exact same game plan for the Toronto Maple Leafs tomorrow. They have a plan, and that is to be extremely disciplined and make Ottawa be over aggressive and draw penalties.
I don't argue. I'm just telling you, I think the game will be it just is a completely different game. Ottawa is going to adjust. Toronto will make some adjustments too. I don't think Ottawa ends up nearly as undisciplined as they were.
Ottawa's got to win some faceoffs on the PK. Like, let's be honest. Like, you can't lose clean draws like that. You got to, if you're going to lose a clean, the guys know this, and I'm sure guys, they're not trying to lose faceoffs, but you can't lose them that clean. It's too advantageous for the power play, especially with the skill level. Like, Toronto's rolling out 5 forwards. Like, that is 5 highly skilled guys out there. And you give those guys time and space. And we said this yesterday. Like, I think we said if Toronto is going to get up in this series, it's going to be because of their power play. And that's exactly what happened last night. They got opportunities, and because of Ottawa's, well, it's hard to be, you can't be aggressive when you lose a draw that clean. It's just, you got to get in the shooting lane and somehow block it. But you got guys like Nylander, guys like Marner, Tavares, like they're good at changing the angle and manipulating shots. Like they're some of the highest skilled players in the league for a reason.
As long as Linus Ullmark
is better. Go ahead.
I just wanted, as Linus Ullmark is better and outplays Anthony Stolarz, I think this is a split.
So one of the things that we lickety split.
Lickety split. Is that what you're calling?
Go ahead.
You're getting the t-shirts made now. Wally says lickety split.
So one of the things that we talked about going into the postseason was like this team's success would sink or float based on the performance of the Shabbat-Jensen pairing. Yorkie, they were on the ice for 2 goals, the first 2 goals of the game. What's your thoughts on their performance, especially early on?
I thought Shabbat was nervous in the first period. I think the nerves were there a little bit. Like, he's been so good down the stretch. Just appeared to be first game. I just thought he wasn't handling the puck as clean as normal. And that's that breakaway goal. Just being aware. Toronto tries to stretch it all the time. Marner's always doing that a lot. Nylander's always up there. You just have to know when a guy's behind you. It's the responsibility of the far side D on that play. You can't let a guy slip through you. But Matthews made an incredible play on that. Like, he grabbed that puck with his hand right down, threaded that pass through the 2D. It was an incredible play. Like, you gotta know Toronto's trying to do that all the time. And listen, it was a mistake. You weren't aware for a split second, and you learn from it.
Well, remember, that's the play that Thomas Chabot tries to go around the net, like purposely missed the shot as opposed to put it on net, and it ends up coming all the way around. If he hits the net, I don't think that goal goes, or that puck goes the other way. This
is a totally different Toronto Maple Leafs team that people are used to seeing in the playoffs. They dump pucks all the time. They manage the puck way better. They're blocking shots now. This different animal Ottawa's facing. So this, it's not the Sheldon Keefe Toronto Maple Leafs that you never dump the puck in. Like, that was a really physical first 10 minutes of the hockey game last night. I was shocked how physical Toronto was.
So Ottawa had 56 hits in that game. Tim Stutzle led the way with 9, I think it was. I thought so. Hang on before we get to theirs. Couple of quick, let's do some housekeeping notes. One, if you check us out on Twitter or Instagram, you'll notice that there is one single ticket that has been donated by a Sens fan and a fan of the show. Can't make the game. He is donating a 100 level ticket, a single ticket, because people have emailed talking about taking their friends to the game. I just want you to email the show, cihsens@gmail.com. Tell us why you should be chosen. Secondly, when we return to Ottawa after our little sojourn to Toronto, we are going to be going live from the Royal Oak in Stittsville, where we will have more prizes. At game number 3, we are giving away a pair of tickets to go see game number 3. So you have to be at the Royal Oak in Stittsville to win the tickets. Okay.
Are you giving away mugs at this one too?
We will have mugs available. There you go. There will be prizes. There will be prizes.
He better get home quick after tomorrow's game and get making those mugs.
I got Josh to go get the clay, so we'll be good. Okay, so back to Brady and Timmy, who there was a lot of focus on how their games would go. Let's start with Brady, because there were the chants. Brady said he did hear the Brady sucks, which I thought was very entertaining, because
that was good.
If you're a visiting guy, you want to be known and under the skin, right? So how would you guys assess Brady Kachuk's game in game number 1?
I think for a guy who had 5 shots on net, and I think he missed another handful as well. Like missed shots,
7 missed. Yeah,
and he had 7 hits in the game as well. I think, like, for a guy who had that many high event plays, it was a quiet game from him. Like, I'm not trying to knock Brady. I think, like, for a guy who hasn't played much in the last little bit, Yorkie can maybe speak to this a little bit more about the feeling out process, getting yourself involved. But I don't know, like, he could have been better. But again, as I said earlier, like, their line generated a lot of chances and shots on goal and everything else. So I didn't find he was struggling out there. But they need maybe just, like, I think, like, the moment that I was looking for is, like, you're looking for those emotional momentum changing plays or events in a game where it's like a big hit or a goal, like the breakaway goal that we mentioned. Like, you're waiting for him to have that moment in the game, and it just didn't happen.
I watched him pretty closely down low. He won a ton of 50-50s down below the goal line when he's battling against Toronto's Big D. I thought he was doing a nice job of extending plays. That's what Brady does his best work. When he's down low, he holds guys off because he's got that huge body. I thought he was really good doing that. Like, I give Toronto credit. They didn't give Ottawa a lot of secondary looks. Like, they collapsed around that front of the net. But I thought Brady extended some plays. Again, like, when you have long periods of those of you're going on the kill on that, it really screws up the lines, especially when you want to get your line back on. Giroux's part of the penalty kill, so he's not on the line. You kind of lose the rhythm. You're not in sync. But I thought he was good. Like he was physical. Like he was trying to make a difference physically. He had a couple big hits early. For his first playoff game, I thought he was fine. I thought he was doing what he normally does. I think amongst a lot of the other players, you're going to see them come to another level tomorrow night.
Okay, Tim Stutzle quickly.
He was good. Effort was good. I thought he made it. There was a conscious effort by Timmy Stutzle. Very first shift of the game, he got on the forecheck, and it was like, finish. And he tried to do that the rest of the night. He's trying to make a conscious effort to be physical out there. Obviously, he was on the wrong end of the one penalty, which ended up costing Ottawa. But I love the effort. He's holding on to pucks. Like, there's not a lot of space out there. Like, if you look at Toronto's guys 5-on-5, they're not doing much. Like, I was most impressed with Toronto's fourth line, 5-on-5, to tell you the truth. Lawton and Yarncrook. I thought that was Toronto's best 5-on-5 line. But Stutzle will be fine. First game. Now he knows what the standard is. Was he great? No. Was he bad? No. I thought he was average, but his effort was outstanding.
I think when you see like a skilled guy have like 9 hits like that, like uncharacteristically high number of hits, your first thought is like, oh, is he going out of his way to like, you know, it's not necessarily a big part of his game, but like, is he going out of his way to like land hits and put himself out of position? Is he chasing it a bit that way? And I don't find with Timmy's game last night like he was doing that at all. I think like he was very under control. He was making plays, making shifts. I thought their line was fantastic last night. They just didn't bear their chances.
Yeah.
The only thing I don't like about when you have 56 hits or a guy having 9 hits just means you don't have the puck.
Yeah, but like Jake, you have the graphic of the 5-on-5 shots. I think it's the heat map from Natural Stat Trick. Yeah, like, you know, like for the most part, like Ottawa kept Toronto's shots to the perimeter at 5-on-5. Like obviously there's a big red mark in front of the net, but like Ottawa was in the high slot, low slot. I don't mind
just
their game.
Tell people what they're looking at.
Yeah, so this is just shot density. So like the volume of shots, obviously, like the thicker, the darker. Like so with Ottawa, you want it to be dark blue. With Toronto, if Toronto was generating a high volume of shots from a certain area, it'd be like dark red, for example. But you can see like all the locations of the shots, and in Toronto's, most of them came from the perimeter. So obviously, it's understandable why Travis Green was pleased with the 5-on-5 play, and all the players were talking about that as well. You know, if Ottawa could be a little bit more disciplined, they could play a tighter game. They could be in good shape. That's how they're going to have to win. You have to stay out of the box against Toronto, and you have to just play well and bury your chances of 5-on-5. Go ahead.
They got some clean looks. They got some clean looks in the slot. Amadio had a couple of passes where he flung to a guy wide open in the slot. It was one Pinto, and the other one was maybe Zetterlund, where I can't remember. Besides power play and special teams, Ottawa was getting some good looks 5-on-5. It's just, say it again, you can't take penalties against Toronto, and reasons for that. But this is the first round. The first round, and I said it yesterday, it's always won on special teams. It's just special teams and goaltending. And Toronto, 3 power play goals. There you go.
I think, like, you know, like scoring at 5-on-5 has been a struggle for the Senators all year. Like, you talk about chances and expected goals and everything else, but like, if the team doesn't finish at 5-on-5, they're cooked. Because I think that's the one advantage that they have in the series. They're playing well at 5-on-5. They're generating chances, but it's been a problem for them all season. I think if you lose, ultimately, if you lose this series, that has to be addressed. You have to get a goal scorer who can finish. And I think, like, on the back end, especially on the right-hand side, I think, like, you need another quality veteran guy that you can either put on the second pair with Shabbat and slide Jensen down to the third pairing, or you put someone with Klebin to improve the quality on the third pairing as well.
Well, that's not happening now.
That's what I said. The offseason, if they ultimately lose this series,
I need to worry. I'm not worried about the series, Graham. I don't care about the summer.
Yeah. You know what they need?
I'm one game from panic mode.
One game from panic.
Press the panic button.
Speaking of panic mode, so one of the narratives going around Twitter and like social media is like, if Ullmark drops game 2, people want Levy. And
He's not playing.
I can't see Levy coming in.
He's not playing.
He's not coming in.
No.
I like Levy though. I'm a Levy fan. I'm on Team Levy, but I don't see him. I don't see him playing.
If he plays, then the series is over. Like, because they're clearly at the point of they're down 3-0, and Ullmark has been horrendous.
When's the last time Levy's played an NHL game?
Ooh, January? Well, I feel like it was January.
Yeah.
You give me a second, I'll get to it. But
I think it's January. It's January. Yeah. No, he's like if something happens, like people remember Forsberg's last game there, but he had some good games leading up to that. But it's way too early to start talking about Ullmark's coming out of the net.
February 1st.
And who's coming in. But just back to the thing you were talking about earlier you were talking about Ottawa's D. I think in the offseason, they'll be looking for somebody that's long. Like you look at the teams that win in the playoffs that are very tough to play against. To me, that's the one thing that's lacking from Ottawa's top four. A big, rangy, long guy that makes it hard for you to go around, that takes up a lot of space. Like Brendan Carlo was a really good pickup by Toronto, but there's just not a lot of guys like that in the league. Like when they come available, it's tough to get them. So you normally got to develop them, and hopefully, tell you what, Matt Impello is going to be a lot better next year. Like he's rangy. It's just he's raw. Like, he hasn't got a lot of experience in the league, but that's what all the teams. You look at Vegas, you look at the Washington Capitals. Like upper echelon teams have these big, long range. Do you remember we had Luke Richardson on the show, Wally?
Yeah.
What did he say that the Chicago Blackhawks were putting first and foremost, and all other teams around the NHL, what all teams are looking for right now?
And that's when they drafted the defenseman. Long and rangy.
Big, long and rangy, because you can't. Tough to teach long and rangy. You just got it or you don't. It's the way the playoffs are played. Well, except last night, but usually playoff games. Usually playoff games. You have to battle through space, and it's tough out there, and it's playoff hockey, and it's mean. My God, could you imagine? Could you imagine if video replay didn't exist? Ridley Greig would have got a 5-minute penalty for that. He would have got 5.
Yes,
because that's the game the officials decided to call was everything. They, in their minds, what they saw was a 5-minute major. Think about that for a second.
But that's like the de facto call now, right? Like anytime there's like a controversial play, they'll automatically now give the 5 minutes so they can review it and determine its severity, right? So it's almost like I
thought those guys were out to lunch last night. Thought they were out to lunch.
They weren't particularly good, no.
Okay. We're going to save it. I got stuff for tomorrow, so we got to still have another show. We'll bring up the size matter. Maybe we'll start with that. Until tomorrow, by the way, if you're watching and you're not doing anything around 4:30 tomorrow, come on down to Shoeless Joe's on Queens Quay, and we will be having a little bit of a party. Join us then, won't you? Until tomorrow, gentlemen, enjoy your evening. We'll chat tomorrow. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys.
See ya.
Thanks for tuning in to Coming In Hot. If you enjoyed the show, hit that like button and be sure to subscribe to never miss an episode.